you guys? Welcome back to another video. Hey, hello, my name is Angela. I am a practicing attorney who makes videos about law school, lawyer life, and all things in between. So today's video is going to be installment 2 of our no law degree legal jobs. So in case you haven't seen part 1, I talked about some jobs in the legal field that don't require a law degree. We talked about some of the more traditionally thought jobs like legal assistant, paralegal, but we also talked about legal project managers and jobs like that that you wouldn't necessarily think about when you are thinking about, I want a job in the legal field. So today is just going to be a continuation of that video where I talk about 6 additional no law job careers. And if you guys want more of these, I can definitely make more videos, so let me know in the comments. I will leave a link to video 1 in the description box down below, so check that out if you haven't. So one thing you're going to notice about the roles in this video is the roles are definitely in a legal setting, but they don't necessarily require some of the legal skills that you might think about. For example, our first role is HR recruiting. Now, HR recruiting is not something that you think about when you think about law. When you think about a legal career, you don't go, hey, I could be in HR or recruiting. However, if you are HR and recruiting in a law firm per se, that's where you start to get the I work in the legal field. I think that's something that people don't think about when they think about a career in law. They automatically just think about lawyer, paralegal, judge. But the legal field is also made up of a bunch of support people. Just like with any organization, a law firm, for example, still needs HR people, they still need marketing people, they still need all those people. And so in this video, we're gonna kind of dive into how those roles work in sort of a legal setting. I have personal experience with seeing these types of roles because I've worked in law firms in majority of my career. So I worked in law firms for about 7 years before I transitioned into an in-house counsel position. And one of my first encounters with the legal field, with the law firm world, was back when I was a summer associate. As I was being onboarded, some of the first people that I spoke with was HR recruiting. Now, there are some really cool recruiting type positions. So HR and recruiting kind of manage the hiring process when it comes to recruiting law students, other lawyers into a law firm. Recruiting is huge in law firms, especially some of your top firms, because they want to recruit and retain the top talent coming out of law school or already in the legal field. So the recruiting efforts for law firms are huge. They do a lot of law school outreach, a lot of lateral outreach. They work with third-party recruiters who help them onboard top talent, particularly when we're talking about laterals, people who are already working. They go to law schools and recruit there. They host events for law students. They create the whole kind of summer associate experience program, the calendar for all that. They do a lot of work to recruit top talent to these law firms. On the HR side, they do a lot of onboarding. They do the employee benefits, the employee relations, all of that stuff. So there's a lot of roles within the HR recruiting department at a law firm that you can look into. And you get a lot of exposure to the lawyers and just the legal community and the legal field in general. I know, for example, if you are in recruiting and your focus is really on summer associate and a summer associate program, you plan a lot of those events. They're super fun, a lot of nights out, a lot of dinners, a lot of things like that. And I remember some of our recruiters and I had a really good experience with them. And I remember thinking like, this seems like a cool job. So how to get into legal recruiting HR, a background in human resources or something related like that is obviously good. A lot of people who have business backgrounds or business degrees find their way into HR. Also, a lot of former lawyers get into legal recruiting. Those types of people usually tend to build their own recruiting firms or go work at legal recruiting firms, not necessarily within law firms, but that also is a thing. As far as skills for being in HR and recruiting, strong communication skills, strong customer service type skills, because you are going to be working with so many different personalities, and that's going to be key to know how to kind of manage those different personalities. Human resources knowledge is always good. Experience with recruiting is great. Those are the type of skills you're going to be needing for that type of role. The next role I want to talk about is a diversity, equity, and inclusion director. At every law firm that I worked at, and I worked at 1, 2, 3 law firms. Yeah, I worked at 3 law firms. At every law firm that I worked at, there was always, at some point during my time there, a diversity, equity, and inclusion director. That, I think, is a relatively new, within the last 5 to 10 years, thing that we're seeing. But we're seeing that because obviously diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts are becoming increasingly important to clients. So law firms are starting to kind of fall in line with those expectations of clients. A lot of times where they're doing RFPs and all sorts of things, clients do ask about diversity and equity inclusion. They ask about numbers. And so these DEI director positions are starting to pop up all over the place because it's becoming increasingly important in the legal field. If you're wondering what these DEI directors do, they spend a lot of time focusing on DEI initiatives, whether that be through recruiting, whether that be through clients, whether that be through just refining those processes. I've even seen DEI efforts with suppliers that law firms are working with that were initiated by the DEI director. So it's kind of really in every aspect of the law firm, or the legal organization, I should say, because it's not just law firms who are doing it. These directors also are usually involved with conducting or overseeing DEI trainings. They'll bring speakers in, they'll create their own trainings, workshops to help people identify certain areas of fineness or weakness when it comes to DEI, and kind of stressing the importance of it. So that's another thing. And then also these directors will kind of conduct internal audits and help implement strategies to help improve in DEI efforts and to make sure the organization is kind of getting with the times and making sure they are inclusive. How to become a DEI director. So how to become one. Again, a background in human resources will be good. A background in law, even if you don't have a law degree, because a law degree is not required, but a background in maybe working in a legal setting, in a business setting, experience in a business setting, and then some sort of education and trainings on diversity, equity, and inclusion is also good. So as far as skills for that, you're definitely going to need some leadership skills. You're going to need strong communication skills. You're going to have to be able to persuade the people who matter on these DEI efforts and the importance of them. You're going to have some sort of training on diversity, equity, inclusion, and the underlying principles of it. And so those are the type of skills that you're going to see within these types of roles. The next role is more of like what you would think for law, and it is a docket specialist. A docket specialist essentially manages a law firm's calendar for their cases. And what this means is making sure deadlines are calendared and met for filings and other case activities that have deadlines, because they are governed by the courts, like the court calendar. So this is what it's meant when you hear the judges talking about the dockets. So the docket specialist's responsibility is going to be maintaining, updating, and coordinating that legal calendar for the law firms. And they'll be making sure that filings and other kind of court activities are done according to the rules of that particular court. Docket specialists do a lot of communicating with the attorneys and paralegals and legal assistants about the docket schedule. So the type of skills docket specialists have, they're super organized, they have great communication skills, they're very timely, they know how to work different legal systems that courts use, and of course they have attention to detail. In order to become a docket specialist, I think a lot of times you're going to get on the job training. I believe there are certifications or courses you can take, but really on the job training is really probably going to be the best training you can get. The next role is a marketing coordinator. Like I hinted at earlier, marketing is huge for law firms. The marketing department does so much for law firms. They help law firms submit RFPs to get new clients. They help maintain the current clients. They help create and refine the firm's branding. They manage the website. They update the website. They manage the firm's social media if they have it, which most firms do, especially your larger firms. They help their lawyers prepare for client meetings, networking events. Like, for example, if I was meeting with a client or a potential client, I would reach out to marketing for certain marketing materials that I could provide the client with. They help me prepare for those type of meetings so I can speak to the capacities of the law firm. Again, especially in your larger firms, the firm does multiple things. So marketing helps you understand how to communicate what the firm does. Marketing directors also tend to help with business development for lawyers. Particularly in the law firm, business development is huge. That's how we get our clients. And so marketing definitely comes in handy when it comes to business development. They help a lot with that. So of course, the skills that marketing coordinators are going to need, they're going to need marketing skills. They're going to need communication skills. They're going to need skills with creating graphics, content, websites, all sorts of things like that. Skills like digital marketing, especially in today's world, branding, all that stuff is super helpful. You'll find that a lot of marketing people have a business background, especially if they have a marketing degree. Those are the types of skills and also experience needed to be a marketing coordinator. The next one is a public relations specialist. Every organization, especially a bigger organization, needs PR, okay? You need someone who can speak to certain things when events happen, especially events that are surrounding your organization or are relevant for your particular industry. So these people are going to handle any sort of crisis communication, any sort of press release. That's where your public relations specialist is going to come in. This actually seems like a really, really cool job to me. I feel like in another life, I might get into PR because that just seems so fun. So PR specialists will do things like help draft press releases. They will kind of handle media questions, media relations, make sure the right people are signing off on these types of third-party communication and media, outward-facing media. They help with communicating and shaping the narrative for law firms and other organizations, the message that these firms want to put out. They help shape those messages and kind of test that out for the public. And of course, they are there when things go bad. So if there's any sort of crisis response, bad press, negative reputation, those types of messages that are put out when those things happen, they also handle that as well. Skills, good communication skills, good writing skills, media communication skills. The background that you typically see for these people, again, a business background, public relations background, communications, journalism, all sorts of things in those areas are always good for a PR specialist. The next and final career I'm going to talk about in this video is a claims adjuster. There's actually a lot of law adjacent titles and roles in the insurance industry, and actually I can do a whole separate video, but the one I'm going to talk about today is the claims adjuster. A claims adjuster investigates insurance claims on behalf of an insurance company. They will assess damages and kind of advise or decide on behalf of the insurance company how the claims should be handled. So now I know you guys are probably wondering, well, how does this relate to law? A lot of times these claims have to be negotiated. Like I said, they will investigate the claims, they'll verify the claims, and then they will negotiate with the claimants, other insurance companies on how the claim is handled. So they'll negotiate these insurance settlements, basically. Some of the tasks that go into their work is preparing reports on these claims, on the settlements, and then in the reports, they'll also have recommendations on what the compensation should be based on their assessment. So skills needed: negotiation skills, investigative skills, knowledge of insurance laws, regulations, and policies are important as well. In order to be a claims adjuster, it really depends state by state, I believe, but a lot of times they will have, of course, at least a high school diploma, but they'll have an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, some sort of training. There's also on-the-job training. There's also certifications you can get. The insurance industry is actually a really good path to look into. Just a little personal tidbit, both of my sisters are actually in the insurance industry, and they are really building some really great careers. And just from some of the conversations we have, they are doing a lot of law adjacent work. Like my oldest sister, the lawyers come to her for questions a lot of the time. So insurance industry, I will say, is a good industry to look into if you are interested in law, particularly insurance law, but you don't want to go to law school. Like I said, I might do a whole video on that because I believe that for insurance and also real property, real estate is a good industry to go into if you want to be law adjacent. But I'll save the rest of that tangent for another video. Yeah, you guys, those are some no law degree jobs that you guys can go ahead and look into if you're interested. Again, if you have not watched part 1 of this video, I will leave the link below because there were some good career paths on there as well. If you guys have experience in any of these roles or have some legal career jobs that you want to add to the conversation, please let us know in the comments below. We love people with experience. My perspective is just one perspective. We love lots of different perspectives on this channel, speaking of lots of different perspectives. We do have the Aspiring Lawyers group on Facebook, which is just a collective of people on their legal journey, different parts of their legal journey, pre-law, in law school, post-law school, practicing, in a group just to be there to support each other. So join the group. I'll leave a link to that below. Also, make sure that you follow me on Instagram at _theaspiringboss, where I just share daily updates on my stories and then also make posts on my Instagram 2 to 3 times a week. So that's another way to connect with me and also get more law school or lawyer life related content. I do like to show some behind the scenes of just my life as a lawyer, a working lawyer mom, a lawyer wife, you know, just other sides of me in my legal journey. So make sure you check me out there. Also, if you want to schedule a one-on-one consultation with me to talk about your law journey, we have a few different options. I'll leave that link in the description box below. With that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.